Ready?
Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, a video game music podcast. This is episode 27-10. We are at the season finale of World 27.
Man, Mario's getting long in the tooth.
He's getting old, man. He's
Mamma mia.
underneath that red cap is all gray. We're your hosts. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm not Mario.
And every week we listen to great video game music from all consoles, all generations. We pick a topic, we pick some music around that topic, and we talk about the late, great TGIF sitcom awesomeness.
Actually, real quick before we go on to like the general top of the show, I had a thought, and I'm curious about what you think, and also if the listeners are here, if they want to say something about it too. Sort of maybe for the month of, I guess it would be June now, do a sort of Legacy Music Hours style tribute month, where all of our picks have to come from that era that they picked their tracks from.
Oh, do strictly 8-bit, 16-bit?
That would be really challenging for me, but I think that's part of what would make it interesting.
Oh, I would love that. You know I would love that.
Oh, God, that you rule that circus. I'm like, whoops.
I got some Master System tracks we can...
I'm like, here's another track from that game, Mario 3.
Well, it's summertime, right? So we'll do, it's the summer of chiptune.
Or summer of 16-bit.
Yeah, summer of 16-bit, and we'll do it out in the garden.
That would be nice, actually. But I just had that thought recently, because I was like, it'd be interesting to try to challenge myself, because I feel like I kind of cheat sometimes, because due to how I do like a game review, I do a lot of game reviews and stuff. Sometimes I'll be picking topics based off of games I reviewed. Like, I want to talk about this track that I heard in this game.
And then I'm usually scrambling afterwards. But I think that's good, though, because you're reviewing a lot of these new titles or indie titles that maybe people don't know about. But yeah, before we get anything else started, I also want to mention that next week we have a very special guest coming on the show.
He ain't kidding.
Yeah, Tom Salta, the composer of many, many games, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
And you saw Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Yeah, Wolfenstein Youngblood, some of the Prince of Persia series, like it's a lot of cool stuff. So we'll have him here in person. No.
Wouldn't that be a trip? Like, hey guys, I just drove in from where I live, and man, are my tires tired.
Yeah, I have no idea. But big shout outs to Nick for hooking us up with some guests to come on the show. So we got a lot of good music that coming up for that one. And then I think a week after that's going to be a week after that is going to be our Patreon episode.
We got to choose a topic for that, too.
Well,
maybe by the end of the episode, we can think of something.
I'm saying the Jingles episode it's looming over my head is what I want to do.
But for the Patreon episode?
That would be ideal, right? Because then they get to watch us.
I guess that is true. Though at the same time, I feel like, I guess then they wouldn't be able to pick tracks, though. So that maybe we shouldn't do it for Patreon, but maybe we'll record it anyway. We'll just have to do an episode that's live. Specifically, and say, hey, it's 2 in 1 month, but we're picking our own tracks.
So this would be an episode where we play music that sound like commercial jingles or sitcom jingles, and then we just come up with, then we do karaoke, right?
Yeah, and it will be challenging, because it's one thing to just randomly go, I'm going to say a bunch of words that beats, but it's another thing where you're like, I'm expected to do it. This is going to be a treat.
I know. Are you going to freestyle? You might freestyle once or twice.
I've never really been one to be able to write lyrics down. Like, okay, me.
Oh, you should do it.
I'm going to try, but the only downside is most of my words are going to be like, so I went to the market, bought food, and the food was stale. I wasn't in the mood to play a bunch of games. So I looked at the guy and said, get off your butt and make me some fries and rice. And he said, oh, that's cool.
Look at you. See, you have the gift of gab, and I'm going to have to write everything down.
Man, we'll see. We will see.
I'm loving we can actually listen to the music while we're talking and everything now.
Oh, we didn't mention for the beginning episode, folks. This is our first episode recording in the studio since COVID kicked off.
Yeah. This is the fully vaccinated podcast.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. I ain't playing games. I'll tell you right the heck now. For example, what was it? It came out, actually announced today when we're recording the show, that they were like, you're officially allowed to not wear masks out and about and gatherings and the like. And I'm like, yeah, no. People, and it's one of those things that makes it doubly interesting, because I made the comment that I'm about to say in a number of large environments, large social media environments. And typically you get the guys that are going to laugh, react your stuff, like, what a sheeple or something. But this was something that really you can't refute, which is I said, all things considered, over the last flu season, this is probably the healthiest I have ever been, which means that I'm going to keep wearing this mask at the grocery store and in places where I'm not there to socialize, but to get something done.
Yeah. I haven't had the flu. I haven't had the cold. The worst sick I've been since COVID was a day after getting the vaccine each time.
Yep, which is kind of that's like the rhythm and pixels difference. There, it's like
yeah, you were fine.
I'm like maybe the second one will be different, Rob. You're like,
no, apparently it's been hitting everybody differently, and I'm just one of the really lucky ones that gets a horrible migraine.
If it makes you feel any better,
so maybe I have that to look forward to every year. I get a booster now, right?
Well, maybe not. We'll see. I mean, they'll have more time to do more stuff with it. Maybe they'll come up with something. Maybe they'll add some eggplant or something.
I think it's up to me. I think it's up to me.
Maybe you got to will it. Maybe it's all in your head too. Like you're like, I know it sounds like the most awful thing. Like maybe you wouldn't be so depressed if you stopped feeling that way.
Yeah, maybe it's your fault, Rob.
You should stop wanting to be sick. But like jokes aside, but also kind of joking. Like I feel like because I can't explain why I didn't get sick, so I feel like I say even though it might be like a 5% reasoning behind it, like the fact that I expected to potentially get sick, but I was like the whole time I was like, no, even if I get sick, I'm going to do everything I was going to do.
Yeah,
I'll just be sick while I'm doing it. Like I was going to go to the gym with a migraine and everything. I didn't care.
I know. I was gonna play DDR and be like, all right, I'm just gonna do it. My arm's gonna be fine this time. I'll be able to. No, none of it was fine. I think there's something to your blood type because really early on they talked about how some people with rare blood types like yours are less affected by the virus.
You're less affected. Yeah, that would make sense too because. I mean, I've been putting this blood to use this entire process. Like, I donate blood constantly, like heck. And I'm going to just say this now and also say at the end of the episode because I've just thought about, there's my end. Remember, is blood is in terribly low quantities. Like, even if, like, they've been almost haunting me on the phone. Hey, Pernell, could you come in and donate? Okay, guys, I'll be in on Saturday.
They're going to drain you, man.
Next 3 days. Hey, man, are you coming in? Like, I told you I'm coming in. Leave me alone. Like,
they're going to drain you. They're going to take you apart to get all of your...
It's like, ram.
So Pernell's a universal donor, just if anyone wants to know.
Oh, yeah, and I've donated...
now
I'm up to 3 gallons of blood donated, over 3 gallons.
Now the whole internet knows. They're going to come after you.
Like a vampire. Yeah. Vampire Mr. Burns is listening now.
I'm a big fan of video game music and blood.
What do you know? I donate blood.
All right, so the topic is something you've talked about for a while, and it's been on our list.
And to be perfectly honest, we may revisit just because we've got more to plow through on this, but the topic is the major arcana. So for folks who aren't familiar with them but know video games, think about Persona, think about Tactics Ogre, think about Magical Drop 3. For those who don't know about those games, then, well, this will be fun. The Arcana basically factor into tarot cards, and though I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm an expert at the whole concept, tarot cards are typically used by...
I just did the elements.
Oh, this is going to be... Are you serious?
I'm totally serious.
This is going to be hysterical.
I really screwed that up.
Maybe the next episode we should do elements.
Major
I'll pick elements and you'll do Arcana.
And elements.
What we'll have to do a follow-up episode.
No. I can make this work.
No. It's going to work now. We're good. Just I think it'd be funny if it was like, hey, the next episode will be elements, but then I'll pick stuff from the elements and you'll pick major arcana.
No. I can do this. I'm going to make it work. All my tracks, they'll fit. This
is going to be funny. So, know that Rob is going to retrofit all of his element-based tracks around tarot.
Yeah, I can do it.
But tarot cards essentially are like cards that are used by... I guess a lot of fortune tellers will use them too, but they use them in a draw manner to kind of try to lay out like your path, I'll say, like your karmic path, positives, negatives about your life. So, for example, I'm just making this up because I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but like I may say draw the Wheel of Fortune card, but I drew it face down. That means that it's a negative impact of what the Wheel of Fortune card represents for you. So it might be like, hey, you are coming into a scenario where you are going to get caught up in a recurring act of negativity that you need to break out of. But I'm warning you now, that's where you're leading to. So we'll talk about those more as we get in. But as far as they go and the things we might be choosing from, these are the major arcana tarot cards.
Are you going to read through all 21?
I'm not trying to read the ones I see. I'll go quick. The Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor.
How many more are left?
Stop you. The Lovers, Chariot, Strength, Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, Justice, Hangman, Death, Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment, the World, and the Snickers bar. Oh, God, I love that one the most. So I only read those off very quickly because I didn't want to drag us down, but just to basically say we could be picking something based off of any of those tarot cards. And admittedly, like I said, I want to revisit this down the line. One, because there's other options, and two, because I feel like I winged the living daylights out of some of these where I'm like, that sounds right.
Oh, you winged it. I just picked other tracks. Anyway, these tracks are good though. I stand by these because we're going to this first track. We're going to really take the energy of this episode and just sort of slow it down. This is the chillest track I've heard in a long time. This is from Ecco the Dolphin, Defender of the Future, for the Sega Dreamcast and for the PlayStation 2.
It's already going to be hilarious to try to retrofit this in.
The track is called Up and Down, and it's the lake. It's the first area of the game. The composers on the game are Tim Follin and Attila Heger. Now, Tim Follin's credited for doing the in-game music, and Attila is credited for doing the cinematic music. So, although this sounds cinematic, this is in-game music. So I believe it's Tim Follin. And there's some guitar in there, too, which makes me think that it's definitely him. And this is for the world Arcana, okay?
Okay.
Because the world is all about adventure, exploration.
Okay.
And Ecco...
He gets rammed. Ecco gets rammed.
Ecco travels, man. He has to save, or she... Ecco is saving the world, all right?
He travels the tides of time and maybe space. I don't know. Maybe there's a space version.
I think if there's one Arcana for Ecco, it's the world, okay? Or maybe the Hangman. I don't know.
It's still so funny. Like, I thought it was the elements for that.
I know. I totally just wrote the elements down. All right, so here we go. That's why when he showed up, I was like, which ones did you pick?
There's not many elements.
All right, here we go. This is Up and Down in the Lake from Ecco the Dolphin for the Sega Dreamcast, composed by Tim Follin.
I give it 9 out of 10 stars.
I give Ecco 2 out of 2 flippers.
That's a lot of flippers.
You're listening to Up and Down and the Lake from Ecco the Dolphin, Defender of the Future for the Sega Dreamcast, composed by Tim Follin. I really love this song. I listened to this like 3 times today because it was so chill.
It's extremely atmospheric.
Yeah.
I am a fan of atmospheric tunes, but we gotta wrap that up because it's time to get to the interesting part of this.
Why I chose the world?
Well, that for sure, but also I'm assuming you originally chose this as
water. Clearly water for the elements. Yeah, but no, the description of tarot is a voyage, a route, or emigration, flight, or a change of place. Right.
Okay.
And Ecco, it travels through time. He travels the oceans to save the world. I think he's on a voyage. He's on a journey.
He's on a journey.
Yeah.
World seeker.
So I flip the card and I see Ecco the Dolphin. And they're like, yo, what's up?
He's like, I can't even do the Ecco. I can't even do a dolphin voice. I don't have a voice for that.
I want to say I started this one ages ago. Like we were in like the first 1 or 2 years in the condo. I think I booted this guy up and I didn't get very far. And it was like the first Ecco for the Genesis where like I swim around and I'm like, great, what's next? I have no idea.
I feel like Ecco's one of those games that I think would get an awesome retelling.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's been 2 games that have come out over the last, 10 years. Astro Aqua Kitty and Aqua Kitty DX Milk Scavenger or Milk Excavator, whatever the heck it's called. And I feel like that art
Those
style
aren't real games.
No, they're real games. I actually reviewed Astro Aqua Kitty a couple weeks ago. But I think the art style for those 2 games would be very fitting for an Ecco the Dolphin reboot.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Astro Aqua Kitty because you pile a submarine through a bunch of underwater caverns.
Okay, yeah, it's in a 2D thing too. Oh, I have seen this. Okay, this reminds me of a Genesis title. It was a late era Genesis title. I remember. I'll find it later. I don't want to look it up now. But I did recently play because it was free through the PlayStation Network. The game Absu, which was like a deep sea diving adventure, and that made me that reminded me of Ecco like really hardcore.
Oh, that's why I like
because it's just swimming and exploring, and you're sort of like saving wildlife. There's like a huge shark that gets trapped and you save it and it follows you around. It's really neat.
That's usually the opposite of what happens when you rescue a shark.
Well, I mean, when you first encounter the shark, you have these little robots with you, and then it eats the robots, and you're like, oh, I gotta watch out for the shark thing. And then later on, you realize that I think you or your race of people have kind of screwed up the planet, and you're helping the water come back, and you're helping the wildlife come back. But like the way it was, the camera was fixed in a lot of places, and it was really cinematic in that way that that journey was. So I felt like it was easy to navigate, and I didn't get sick playing it. So I think an Ecco game in that fashion, in that style, would be really nice.
That would be cool. We already had Maneater, so we know if they could do Maneater like that, they could easily do something lighter like Ecco the Dolphin.
Yeah, I think they could make it. I mean, I guess the whole thing with Ecco is that like there's no dialogue, right? Or there's no real dialogue from Ecco. Ecco is.
I feel like he was the player avatar, but all the other underwater creatures did speak.
Yeah, you could hear them talk, and I kind of like that it was text because then you can kind of imagine him speaking telepathically to these other animals. But yeah, like they would want you. The game would want you to feel more like a dolphin and not like a dolphin that's behaving like a person. If you know what that.
If you've watched The Simpsons, you know what he's talking about.
No. I've watched The Simpsons, but I don't know.
The Halloween episode where all the dolphins came on land and kicked the humans out.
Oh, that's right. Wow. In my mind, that was a Family Guy episode.
Honestly,
it could have been. It could have been.
It would have been a Family Guy like retros, but like, remember that time the dolphins came and sent us back to the ocean?
This microphone is weird, man. It got working again, then it got real quiet. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one. That was like my little chill way to start the show. And now I know a game that's called Astro Aqua Kitty, which looks amazing.
It's a cool game.
Yeah. All right, so what's your first pick going to be?
All right, so fun fact about all of my actual tarot choices, I did base the actual tarots that I went to seek tracks for off of some of my favorite characters from Magical Drop 3. So There's that angle.
Yeah. And the characters in Magical Drop are from the Arcana, right?
That's right. They're all major correct. Yeah, they are all major Arcana characters.
I like that.
So that's where I shot from. And then the game, I tried to make a general sense based off of like base characteristics on the tarot. So the first one I'm going to go with is the Empress. The Empress was awesome in Magical Drop 3. She did the whip thing, and she was one of the only characters that sent like thick blocks of ice down as counterattacks. And the track that I chose comes from the game The Lyre Princess and the Blind Prince for the Nintendo Switch. And the track title is called Creamy Cotton Road, composed by Yasuhiro Yamazaki. Welcome back. You're listening to Creamy Cotton Road from the game The Lyre Princess and the Blind Princess and the Blind Prince, composed by Yasuhiro Yamazaki.
That is kind of a mouthful, right?
Yeah, it's a lengthy title. But I thought it would be a good opportunity to bring reference to both this track, or rather, for that matter, the OST, because the entire OST is really good for this game. And also, just bring up this game, because I never hear anyone talk about it.
I've never heard of this one. This was on the DS?
On Nintendo Switch.
Switch.
I think the Vita got it too. I'll talk about the game in a second, but so the idea by me choosing this was I went with the Empress, and the references meant by the Empress, the upright form refers to femininity, beauty, nature, nurture, and abundance, whereas the reverse form is a creativity block and a dependence on others. So this game covers a number of these things, actually. So in regards to this game, the premise is that you will start, you're a wolf who just likes to sing at night, and is a prince that lives in a far off kingdom who came to hear the voice and wanted to come see who was singing. And every once in a while the wolf would like notice and then like freak out because she was like scared that the prince would see her and like get scared, so she'd run away. But one night the prince caught her off guard and came while she was singing, and when she noticed the prince listened, she reached out to stop him from looking at her, but she's a wolf, so she accidentally scratched his eyes and sent him flying back, which in turn injured and blinded him. His family then, this is an interesting story. So his family, ashamed of his new condition, actually locked him away in prison so that the public couldn't see him, like out of the public eye.
Wow. Yeah.
So they imprisoned him. And the princess, the wolf, felt really bad about that. So what she ended up doing was she went into the woods and found a magic witch that she hoped could cure the prince for the damage that she caused to him. But she knew in order to go to the prince and get him to her, she had to be in a more acceptable form. So she gave her voice up a la Little Mermaid to be transformed into a human girl so that she could in turn lead the prince from prison to the witch's house.
This sounds like a story, like an ancient story.
Yeah,
like a fable.
It's a wonderful narrative.
That's cool.
So it's like it covers the idea of dependence on others because the prince is blind and injured, and in turn is relying dependent on the wolf to get him to the witch and out of prison, of course. Femininity because the wolf wants to be accepted by this prince, So she has herself transformed into a sort of like a beautiful feminine girl, so that they can connect in that way. Nature, of course, because you're running through the forest and whatnot. And abundance, because I feel like saying the word abundance again.
Yeah.
It's just it's an interesting concept there. Like, I could go deeper in like the idea of how this whole thing works.
Well, there's a lot of transformations. Like the prince is transformed into being blind. Mm-hmm. The wolf is transformed into a princess, but without the voice. So she's transformed into being a person with no voice. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. What is the gameplay like? Is it like a you have to puzzle style?
It's puzzly. So like it's 2D.
It sounds like it would be, is all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, it's definitely puzzly. Like you're just 2D and you're basically guiding the prince through different environments, and there's certain things that the prince can't do. And another trade-off is that the side effect of the curse what that the witch does to the girl, or the wolf rather, is that whenever she's exposed to the moon, she reverts back to being a wolf.
Oh, cool.
So there's certain sections where you have to become a werewolf to do certain like physical things, like fight all like spooky monsters in the woods or whatever, but then you become a girl to do other things, like grab his hand and take him away and move him.
Right.
But you can't be exposed to him as a wolf. So I'm assuming like there's areas where you might come across like moonlight, and you have to get him through in a way that doesn't require you to cross through the moonlight. So it's like interesting stuff like that.
That's cool.
It's like, and I like the idea. It's like pretty much like you said. It's very fairy tale-esque in the telling of the story.
I wish it was in a format on a system I could play it on.
Maybe it's got a Steam version.
Yeah, maybe. That's really cool. Yeah, it actually has like a storybook look to it in the gameplay.
In the version I purchased, actually comes with like if I remember correctly, like a diorama, that pop out diorama.
That's incredible. Oh wow. All right, let me mess up the show, all right?
How would you do that?
By saying my next track.
Oh, this will be fun.
Here we go. I can't believe we haven't played this song before. We played a lot of music from this game. Final Fantasy, The Mystic Quest for the Super Nintendo. We talked about doing an 8-bit, 16-bit, the summer of 16-bit. The summer of 16-bit.
Which is funny, because today the last song I had in my rental car was the summer of 16-bit.
I know, that's what made me think about that. Nice. So the music is by Yasuhiro Kawakami, and this is the tune for Windaria Town.
I wonder what element this is.
I wonder. There's like 4 elements for each town. There's 4 towns in this game. Here we go. This is Windaria Town for the Super Nintendo. Final Fantasy USA. You're over there on your phone so square.
It's a square phone. You're getting practice, aren't you?
I gotta get my practice in, yeah. All right, this is the Windaria Town from Final Fantasy Mystic Quest for the Super Nintendo, or Final Fantasy USA for the Super Famicom. This is by Yasuhiro Kawakami. Mm-hmm. And for this one, I'm picking Lovers in trap mode. This is Lovers upside down. This song is sad, man. I find this song like either like bittersweet or just kind of like a lost romance.
I'm pretty sure the townsfolk are out there living their day-to-day lives, picking apples from their wind-blusted trees. Really appreciate you saying that their town theme is very somber.
I like their town theme. Like, this is their national anthem.
We're all miserable. Don't look at us. Just go to the next town. Don't shop here. We don't need your money. We're all poor.
Yeah. You go, like you show up at the town and you have like 60 gil or gold. I don't know what they call it. I guess they call it gold. And you need to get a new shield. And the shopkeeper's just like, look, man, just take it.
Just take it. I don't even care anymore.
Those monsters are coming. We don't even need this stuff. we fought them before. It's so sad. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, it does sound like the summer is over, and like you're gonna leave all your friends behind and you're moving towns.
Think of it in a lighter perspective. Summer's over, which means you're leading into the nice briskness of fall and all the caramel apples you can eat.
I could be, yeah, but I'm not doing elements anymore.
Touche, I forgot. I love how I forgot.
And you didn't talk about the carnival candy, cotton candy. And
the best part is that you're trying so hard to like tweak it back to the Tarkan, and I'm like, no!
I could do this.
Go back to elements. Oh my god.
So Lovers flipped upside down. And he never played this one, right?
I have not. So Final Fantasy Mystic Quest was another one of those like Nintendo Power Look games or base games where I've only read about in the magazine. And it looked so colorful, entertaining, and I wanted to play it. So couldn't afford it though. So in the end, that was one of those games that I wanted to play but never got around to. But by the time emulation became doable for me, I had already learned a few things about it. One, that in Japan it was referred to as Final Fantasy USA, and the fact that it was meant to be, not even joking, like baby's first RPG.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of people that were seasoned in RPGs bought this game and didn't like it, because while the music was good and the graphics were great, it was a kind of no-brainer for the challenge level. Like, you kind of could sleep through the game, and there's very little customization options.
Well, I feel like they were trying to make, and I believe what was the selling point was to make RPGs more accessible.
Oh yeah, and in that regard, it's reasonable to want to do that. Well, but it wasn't advertised that way.
The Japanese RPGs of the 16-bit era are not like the Japanese RPGs of today, where you have like a tutorial, or like as you go through the battles, it walks you through stuff. Like, you just had to know these things. And for me, it just seemed so obtuse. I was never going to figure it out. But like for my friend who was just, I played Final Fantasy 2 and I played Final Fantasy 3 and I played Chrono Trigger and all these other games, and he's like, Mystic Quest, Final Fantasy, it's another Final Fantasy game. Super excited, put it in, completed it in the afternoon, and was like, how do I return this thing?
But I think that would have made all the difference, though. Admittedly, I'm sure they didn't care because they wanted to get that Final Fantasy money. But to flat out just say, this is a great introductory RPG to see what all the fuss is about, and let people decide they want to buy it because of that. Because it would have worked. It would have done that job. But I think a lot of us just cut our teeth by going in, the school of hard knocks, like booting up a game maybe because your parents bought it by accident, or you thought the cover looked cool enough to spend the money.
What was your first RPG?
Dragon Warrior 1, and I couldn't figure it out. Like, I was really dumb about that game. And I played around with it and had a general understanding, but not enough so that I could get good at it. So I returned it to the rental shop. Dragon Warrior 2 did the same thing, but I liked it enough to try. Final Fantasy NES was the first one that I really went hard on. As like, my dad bought it for me for Christmas.
Yeah, you went in on.
Yeah, I told you about that story.
The artwork on the original NES is awesome. Like, it's black and it has like is it the weapons on the front or the crystals?
It's like I want to say it's a globe with like a sword going through. Or something.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I like it. I think it's just for what it is, and especially on the NES, it's like elegant. But
it was like something weird about like, you put the game in and the characters don't actually connect. You don't control them per se. You just tell them what to do. And again, I say this knowing that I did play around with Dragon Warrior, but this was my first attempt to really dive in. Like, I gotta get into this because it's my game. So I sat there, tried to hammer it out, but then started realizing that I enjoyed seeing numbers get bigger. I enjoyed getting new gear, buying stuff, and just progressively watching my characters get better. I hated buying magic because it was overpriced garbage. But ultimately, that's when I fell in love with the genre. But I went in without a beginner's RPG, quote unquote. I just went in with what was there. And it was fortunate enough that it was accessible at a level that I could understand. Now, if you were to say, Pernell, start out with like advanced D&D,
Yeah.
Good luck.
That's
it
why
wouldn't have happened.
You need like a game master who's also like a really good teacher.
Exactly.
That's just what I would need too nowadays. But what got me on the first Final Fantasy on the NES was now you play for a little while, and I think it's after like the first dungeon or something, then it shows the opening screen.
Yeah, after you defeat the Garland.
Yeah, after I saw that, I was hooked. I was like, oh, it's like a movie. Like they're trying to tell a whole story. And I was really young, but like I got it.
Oh, yeah.
And it made sense to me.
But then you realized you picked 4 black belts, and that was just it for your game. You weren't much farther than that.
I had 3 white mages because I kept dying, so I just wanted to keep healing all the time.
Like balance, Robert, balance.
Oh, man, I don't know balance. All fighters. They can probably do pretty well with all fighters in that game.
Actually, yeah, you could. If you had the money just to have healing items, you could totally smash it up.
I mean, all honesty, that game's a grind. So, but...
That wasn't for me.
Oh, I mean, you needed to grind.
No. I'm saying, and that wasn't for me. Like, that's part of what ultimately kind of killed me. Like, because I was trying to grind for money for spells, and then of course the Gurgu Volcano save file glitch where I could never actually get through the dungeon. I didn't beat Final Fantasy 1 for the first time until 2013 or 14, and it was done because of an Anime Central panel that I used to run called RPG Critics or Turn-Based Critics. So it was like, I'm going to beat Final Fantasy 1 prior to doing our first official year of a panel specifically about Final Fantasy, because every other year we talked about every RPG, but Final Fantasy was not allowed. You could not talk about Final Fantasy.
I would love to go back and replay that. It's been so long now.
I will say, with better games out there, it doesn't quite hold up as far as like if your time is limited, but as far as like a core concept of like, go get the elemental crystals, now go to Robotic Sky Palace, now do this. The formula's there. It's very bare.
Yeah. Well, still, it's like part of history.
Oh yeah.
I think Phantasy Star is something I would like to try too. I've never played those.
Fine. 2 and 4 are the big go-tos people recommend, but honestly, you could do all of them.
Yeah, I would like to try all of them. I mean, that was on the Master System, right?
Yeah, what is it? I want to say Dan Loughton's actually doing Phantasy Star 4 for the first time now.
Oh, yeah, I think I did see that. Yeah, I don't watch enough Twitch to because it's like, you gotta watch it when he's doing it, and like, who watches live TV anymore? I don't know.
My problem with Twitch is just that I'm behind on all of my personal stuff, so I have trouble getting caught up in what other people are doing too.
Yeah. All right, we've talked about this track enough. All right, what's your next one?
All right, so this is like one that was fitting for this, because I actually got to talk about it next week. So I don't know too much about it yet, but I'll know by next week. This comes from the game Death Crown, which it will be. I'm playing it on the Nintendo Switch, and the track title is called Crown, and it's composed by Lightning. Like it's lightning, but it's broken up into 3 words.
Oh,
they put work into that.
All right, well, maybe we'll find the composer name at some point, or maybe that's just what
that's what he goes by.
That's his given name.
He was born as Lightning.
Yeah, capture lightning in the bottle on that one.
Welcome back. You are listening to Crown from the game Death Crown, composed by Lai Tin Ing. Lightning broken up into 3 different words. I don't write the rules, I just read them. So, funny enough, like this track, joke, I was talking to Rob, I think it was off script at the time, where I said, this song has been stuck in my head for quite a while, and at the beginning, Rob was like, why is this stuck in your head? I don't understand. Like, it doesn't sound like a track that would do that.
I get it now. It took me like a minute, and then I was just like, I just was so into this.
It's like, it's weird in that it does 2 things. Like, one, like I said, it gets caught in your head, but it does it in an unconventional way, because this isn't an uplifting track at all. This isn't even, I don't want to say it's not a banger, because if it weren't some semblance of a banger, it wouldn't be stuck in my head. But it has this haunting oral sound to it that just kind of resonates in your cranial space. And I don't know what it even represents or symbolizes. It's just like a desolate place, an open environment where wind is just blowing
until this happens.
Oh yeah, that's the bagpipe part.
But it's got this Hoover bass that's like. I really love that sound. I've used that sound a bunch of times. But yeah, there's like a bagpipe or some kind of pipe sound.
It's not Mario. It sure as heck ain't Luigi. But you know someone's playing that pipe.
There's just like if you listen really closely, like rewind the episode and just go back and like listen closer and closer to the sounds, and I keep finding more. And I keep picking up. So the artist's name is Lightning. At least that's the artist's name, and the human's name is Konstantin Knerik. And I don't know.
Not Constantinople.
No, I don't know where he's from. Doesn't exactly say here, but we'll have links to the SoundCloud. That's where he has links to the soundtrack to this game on it, and all of his stuff is cool.
Rob's become an Insta fan.
I'm a fan of this guy.
Now, as far as what I chose it for, like the obvious thing is that I chose it for the Death Tarot card.
Yeah.
Sure as heck wasn't the Empress.
This definitely, the audio really fits with that.
Oh, yeah. So, upright, it refers to endings, change, transformation, and transition, whereas the reverse is resistance to change, personal transformation, and inner purging. So, I took some liberties with this one a little bit because flat out death. Death is an ending. And the premise of the game, Death Crown, there are scenarios involved, but the primary scenario is that basically death is coming to pretty much destroy this like upstart king's kingdom. And your goal is to pretty much raise the kingdom by laying down like 3 different types of facilities and generate units to just rush like, towns and cities and ultimately his castle and just destroy it.
Oh, like, so you play the game as death.
You are death.
And you're just destroying this. And you're destroying the kingdom. Well, the art style is almost, it's really simple, but like in a really weird, sinister way. It's all black and white.
And it looks like a simple game. And at its core, it really is. You're literally placing 3 different types of facilities on a map while the opponent's doing the same thing. And every time you create a location, a facility, if it's attacking one, you have to also say where you want it to ultimately go to. So that, for example, if it's a barrack, you place it, and enemies will just constantly spawn from it and follow a line to their destination. Turrets destroy those, but if you don't destroy them with a turret, they will eventually reach where they're going and do damage to the facility. And that's literally the game. Like, there's no crazy, upgrade advancements of units. Now you got like a super soldier. It's like, no, these are your soldiers. These are your turrets. And these are mills to generate money. But it just works. It's fast-paced. It keeps you on your toes. You have this haunting friggin' music playing throughout the game.
Yeah.
And it honestly is it's very different from a lot of games that have come out recently. Like, I like when games take this avant-garde style, this avant-garde approach rather, and try to jump outside the box and say, even if you don't like our game, we're trying to be wacky and different here.
Well, I mean, like, not just different game style and art wise. The music this is so original to me. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever heard anything else like this, or at least done to this degree. Yeah. What's sad though is that on the official website, under like in their press release, like the composer's not listed.
I feel like that happens way more often, unfortunately, than we think, which sucks because I feel like we're in an age now where composers, I think, should be getting dang near top billing, like just below the developers.
I mean, I guess the argument is a lot of people say that, the art is what draws you in. Like you see the game and that pulls you in, the art and the animation.
But I think the music kind of keeps you there.
Yeah, well, for me, like I listen to the trailer and I get excited about the music. And that's just enough. That's just enough for me to go and play a game too.
Oh yeah,
I've done that in the past. I can try to think of an example where that didn't work out in its favor. I'm sure there's one.
Because one thing we're thinking about when it comes to this kind of stuff too, I'm not sure if this is everybody, but at least it is for you and me, is that you play a game, and while you're playing the game, you're in that game's world. You're experiencing what the game wants you to experience.
Right.
And when you're done, you generally might go to a friend and say, hey, I just beat this game. This is what I experienced. This is how I felt when I did it. But when you're not talking to people and you're just doing your thing, typically it's the music that I'm reflecting on post-completion of a game, because that's what drives the scenes. That's what drives the experiences that you're engaging in. It's like, hey, I'm storming the castle that's housing the princesses being held captive by this demon lord. What music was playing during that whole raid? I want to listen to that again. That's where I go. That's where I come from.
It can even keep you in really specific parts of the game too. Like, I don't want to leave this area. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. I almost don't want to leave. It's crazy. How almost unsettling this is, but I don't want to turn it off yet.
It's backwards in that you like it, but you're like, I shouldn't be into this like this, but it works.
All right. Well, we're gonna change things up here. You talked about Dragon Warrior a minute ago.
Ooh.
So we're gonna be listening to this is a Dragon Quest. For the Dragon Quest 2, but this is the re-release on iOS, which got as the same soundtrack. It's just arranged. So the music is by Koichi Sugiyama and arranged by Koichi Sugiyama. So it's not exactly the full orchestrate, because there's a lot of really great orchestrations of this soundtrack. Mm-hmm. That's not this one, but this is Justice, the battle theme.
Justice.
I'm sorry, this is the battle theme, which I'm using for Justice.
Oh.
For Dragon Quest 2 for iOS, composed by Koichi Sugiyama. This is the battle theme from Dragon Quest II for iOS, arranged on iOS, composed and arranged by Koichi Sugiyama.
Well, you know how it goes. Sometimes short loops do the trick. I mean, this is, to me at least, a very memorable battle theme. You turn it on, and it immediately clicked for me. I haven't played Dragon Quest II in decades.
And it's just there.
Just like yesterday. I remember the sounds from when you whiff and everything.
So this one I am definitely taking the easy way out. It's the battle theme from Dragon Quest II. This is Justice.
Clearly,
you're
I'm
fighting them
more so. What was the element that this was based around, or did you choose this just now?
Oh, so the element was originally going to be Earth.
Oh, okay.
Because for me, Dragon Quest is all about fighting the golems. When I first saw the first golem I saw in Dragon Warrior, I thought I was blown away, because it was you discovered it, and it was this big hulking thing, and it was scary. I didn't know what to do.
And then you were blown away by its fist.
Yeah, absolutely. Then you were knocked on the road back to the king's castle, which was being defeated by death at the time. Who knows?
Death Crow.
But this is really cool. I like this section here. It's like that rhythm is really unexpected because it's like a ragtime rhythm.
I never thought about that quite but you make an interesting point.
But just listen, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ragtime gal.
This part right here. But then the rest.
So now I'm just going to start picturing guys with like barbershop clothes, like twirling canes and crap.
Yeah, it's just lighthearted for the rest of this, which is actually like, exciting. It's very like, an elf has come to kill you.
I always the Dragon Quest OSTs are so iconic, and it's funny because like I want to sit down one day to like a straight listen of those because I always feel like I recall them recycling a lot of the OSTs across the different games, like the different tracks. But maybe sometimes like a little tinge of something tweaking to a tinge of tweak to it to make it stand out on its own. Mm. Like I wouldn't be sure this track was used in other Dragon Quest games. I just don't remember.
I'm sure. Yeah. Because like it's so classic. Like people who grew up on RPGs, like you and hundreds, thousands of other people, like this is probably in their core. You know, it's their national anthem.
Honestly, if this was a national anthem, I'd sing it.
All right, what's your third pick?
All right, so conveniently enough, my third tarot is also Justice.
Oh. Hey, we did overlap. Look at that.
Bam. Well, we
were going to overlap. I mean, like we did. Like
I'm joking about that. It's like we did overlap. I was like, yeah, you just winged it. Just jumped in there. For the record, you're doing all right with these rabbit pulls too.
Okay.
Like the Earth. No, I mean Justice. Justice Earth. So this is a little bit of a wing myself, but I chose it for a specific reason in that sense. But this comes from the game Charlie Murder from the Xbox 360.
Oh,
and the
okay.
track title is called Castlemania, and the composer is James Silva. Welcome back. You're listening to the track titled Castlemania from the game Charlie Murder on the Xbox 360, composed by James Silva. So, this is a bit of a roundabout selection for me in this concept because, to go with the tarot card choice, this is the Justice Tarot card, which upright refers to justice, fairness, truth, cause and effect, and law. Reversed, it refers to unfairness, lack of accountability, and dishonesty. So, flat out the top, when I think of justice, there ain't no justice quite like street justice. And I originally thought about going with, like one of the more typical beat 'em ups of like guy takes law into his own hands, like typical Streets of Rage concept and all. But I mean, I feel like we hit final fights and Streets of Rages and stuff like that often enough. So I was like, hey, Charlie Murder's a fighting game or a beat 'em up game, though the premise is a little weirder than the norm, but I think it's going to count this time. And what the premise is for Charlie Murder is that you play as Charlie Murder and his bandmates. Originally, Charlie Murder had one band that he formed with an old friend, but then eventually he kicked him out of the band and acquired new friends to make his band better and bigger.
Right.
And they became successful. His friend kind of sank into a bit of obscurity before recruiting new people to form a new band, but then he also joins up with Satan to form a demon pact and sends demons to kill Charlie and his friends.
Yeah.
They go to hell and eventually have to fight their way out of hell to go back to Earth. And then justice unveils because they have to pretty much go and beat up the guy who sent them to hell and killed them, almost sent them to hell.
Yeah, and really, it's just a story that everybody can relate to.
Of course.
I mean, everyone's got their own story of their friend that turned to the demons to
stab him in the back.
Yeah,
literally and figuratively. And then,
right, you got to run around the streets just hitting bad guys with your guitar and microphones.
Oh, this is all like fisticuffs in this. I wish you could use your guitar.
Oh, really? I thought there were weapons in that you could like hit people with the guitars.
Like a beat 'em up style. Like you'll find weapons on the ground and stuff, but like for the most part, they're just like it's like straight up brawler. But like the thing that makes the brawler itself interesting, aside from the whole fight out of hell bit, is that when you get back to Earth, you're kind of come back in the middle of an apocalypse. So now you're fighting like possessed humans and demons and stuff on your way to defeat your former bandmate and defeat this demon to set things right. But at the same time, there's also like these wacky flashbacks where you see the band play concerts while the guy's jealous. Like, no! It's like it's surprisingly good. And I picked this track because while like James Silva is the guy behind Ska Studios, I don't think he's done too much recently, but he did a few games that people might know, like Dishwasher Samurai. I made a game with zombies in it.
That one was, so he was big in the 360 era.
Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I wish he did more because I like the style of all of his games. It's very like grungy, grimy, dark.
Yeah, this one especially. It's almost black and white with like just red in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it plays so well, and the OST is spectacular, though a lot of it is like more like heavy and like rockish, and yet when I was playing the game, this track was one that hit me the hardest as far as like I really like this track because it stands out as not being as heavy as the rest, and it plays during a fun stage.
Yeah, it's got that cool like melodic thing people that like guitar like bands will do where like someone will play the arpeggio of a chord, and then like the chords kind of go up and go up and go up and go up, and that always like gets me going. Like I'm always like, oh, that's exciting to me. But I'm sure it's like the simplest thing in the world, and it's just such a trope. But I love it.
Can you imagine like this guy composing music and it's like, okay, I'm going to go real special and I'm going to take this in a brave new direction. It's like, can you just put the arpeggio effect in there, just crank this thing up? We're trying to get paid here. We're not trying to be special.
We got to fill the section up here, and I'm like, oh, I want more of that. That's what I want more of. All right, so I'm going to turn Mr. Joe Silva down, and we're going to get James. Who's Joe?
That's his twisted brother.
And we're going to get into the part of the show we call Bonus Round.
Bonus Round by Joe Silva.
Joe Silva. There was a joke on that guest spot that we did on XVGM where I kept saying that I was the hidden composer for like so many games.
Turns out you actually were on 2 of them.
Yeah, people don't know. I'm an old man.
Rob's actually like 96.
Right. All right. So for my bonus round track, this is from the game Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the NecroDancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo Switch.
Zing!
That's a long title. I keep forgetting that's the whole title. It's got a lot going on. Music by Danny Baranowsky. I know you're going to be into,
that's
right?
My baby.
He's your baby.
That's my baby. I nurtured him.
We're going to listen to the combat music for the Gerudo Ruins. we're back. You're listening to the Gerudo Ruins combat music from Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the NecroDancer, featuring The Legend of Zelda.
Scroll up real quick.
Yeah, no.
No, like on the soundbar.
What?
For some reason, I'm not hearing it the same way, so I wasn't sure if it was recording or not.
Okay, yeah, maybe like jiggle the headphone jack.
There it is. That's what it was. Whoopsie doodle.
Anyway, this is from Cadence of Hyrule for the Nintendo Switch, everybody.
That's what happens when we're in the same room together.
yeah, you get that kind of stuff. Anyway, for this music, I picked The Tower. Originally, this was Fire.
Christ, that's hilarious.
But yeah, that kind of makes sense. Misery and distress, like because you're in the Gerudo Valley, right? And then you go into the caves, and it's all like the ruins, and it's dangerous,
And you're hopping, you're bopping, and you're stabbing.
But this is the bonus round, so you got to get funky with it.
Honestly, his Danny Baranowsky can't do any wrong with anything he composes. Honestly, I've not heard a bad track he's put together.
Yeah. Well, he definitely has a sound, right? Like that. Like this is his sound. And I feel like with this soundtrack, it's really Danny Baranowski. It's ultra Danny.
Very ultra. Very Doom-esque.
I was thinking of Daryl. Was that Daryl?
Daryl Baranowski.
Well, I was thinking of the song
Super Daryl Deluxe.
Super Daryl Deluxe, yeah, because the song is all about how cool he is.
Oh yeah.
So this is Super Danny Deluxe.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the soundtrack right here. Danny Deluxe.
That's a game I need to play more of too. Like I like the idea of them combining Zelda with Crypt of the NecroDancer. Like it didn't seem like it made logical sense at first, but in complete form, it's freaking gold.
So now we need a Zelda in a beat 'em up format.
I'd play that.
It would almost be like a Golden Axe kind of thing.
We're pretty close. I mean, we have Hyrule Warriors, but I would like the 2D beat 'em up structure.
Every time I see Hyrule War, that's one of those like
that's a
Muso game. Also Mugen, but every time you see Hyrule Warriors, I think of that old cartoon Ronin Warriors.
Ryo of the Wildfire, yeah. Link of the Halo.
Yeah, Hyrule Warriors. That's a dumb theme song. Okay.
Because he doesn't say words.
He just yells. All right. Oh yeah, and Link won't say anything.
Exactly. Instead of saying Tao, Chi just goes.
I mean, it's the perfect format for him because he'll just use his fists. He talks with his sword.
He didn't talk with words. He talks with action.
So he's fought monsters. He's saved princesses. He's danced in a cave with monsters, and now he's gonna be in a beat 'em up.
About friggin' time. Yeah. I mean, heck, they're already talking about trying to make correction again, because I feel like this has happened before. They're talking about trying to make an anime series out of Zelda, which.
Oh, we already had an animated series for Zelda. And
no, now it's anime. Now it's anime. Like, they want to go all Japanesey with it. But to me, I stand by my thought that if they tried it, I would give it a shot.
Yeah.
But deep down, I feel like what they'd be better off doing is making an original IP that's influenced by Zelda themes and tropes.
Yeah, but then people will complain that it was too much like Zelda.
They'll complain about anything.
But listen to this. How about we do a new podcast? Anime. Like we just talk about anime.
Yeah, but then we'd be stepping on Daryl's toes and he'd kill us.
And we call it Animaniacs.
And then we'd be stepping on Warner Brothers' toes and then they'd sue us.
No, they're cool about it.
They're not cool about anything when lawyers are involved.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, all the jokes they made on the show made me feel like they can laugh at themselves.
Oh, they can when they're doing it.
Just a couple guys in a microphone trying to make a buck. All right. So what's your bonus round pick? So
this is cheating, and I'm cool with that because it's just me looking forward to finally putting this track on the show because I've been addicted to it for weeks now. The tarot choice that I came out with was the Wheel of Fortune tarot, and the actual track is from a game that I think recently just went through Kickstarter. The game is called Unbeatable, and the track title is called Waiting by Peak Divide with vocals by Rachel Lake.
Bursting out like a fractured battery, leaking out what's been stuck inside of me.
welcome back. You are listening to this track, Waiting, from the game Unbeatable, composed by Pete Divide and Rachel Lake. I want to say Rachel Lake was the vocalist, but all I know is that this track is a gem. Like this, if I'm not mistaken, it originally played during the Unbeatable Kickstarter trailer where they were pushing for the, get people to get on board for the game, which, mission accomplished. Yeah. People jumped right on top of it.
Yeah, based on on when the videos came out for the song and the comments of everyone being like, okay, I'm going to put my money into this because this is what I want to see. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's got this cool punk rock. The game has this amazing punk rock look, like we were just talking about, right out of FLCL, with music, this cool music. And I think it's going to have like a very varied soundtrack, but I think this is what they're using to sell it, which is very nostalgic sounding.
Yes,
and it's also a rhythm game.
And rhythm games are a very special beast in and of themselves.
Yeah, so for us especially.
Oh yeah, it's so rhythm games have come a long way from when they first really started. Like, obviously, I think the first rhythm game was actually Parappa. But as far as the big boom happening, DDR and Beatmania are what really kicked that up a notch and became something that people just kept going back to and wanting more of. So with music games, it's interesting in that no matter how you portray it, no matter how you style it, no matter what gameplay mechanisms you imbue it with, as long as you're doing something to the beat of good music, the people will come. Because, for example, like Unbeatable plays a lot like another game called Muse Dash, with the difference being that with this game, you deal with traffic, I'll call it, from two sides, whereas with Muse Dash, it's just going from right to left coming towards you.
Right.
But aside from that, they are the same style of game, and it doesn't matter because when you look at it, you're like, okay, I want this style with these tunes, so I'll play this game.
Yeah.
But now I want these tunes with this style, so now I gotta go play that for a while. Like, you can just go bonkers with this.
Well, we're seeing so much more now. Like, there's this game, which I know it's been in development for a long time, but this is going to be out soon or is out now. Muse Dash was just released, and then Friday Night Funkin' has got. I mean, I think it started as a Flash game, but just got fleshed out into a full release.
Really?
Yeah, it's a full thing, and it's hugely popular.
And that one messes with me too, because
and I think it has a lot to do with specifically with that soundtrack, because that soundtrack is so cool.
That game really messed with me because Friday Night Funkin' makes me want to play Parappa, and it covers all of that of guys singing for a specific purpose. He's rap battling against other people, and yet when you hear them singing, it's like almost like just like garbled, because not words, like
yeah,
like Splatoon singers or something.
Splatoon, they're like from Sims. They're Sims people like singing, but like it's really rhythmic and fun, and
like,
so
it still works.
And so I'm excited about this one because like it doesn't sound like you're creating or adding to the music as you're maybe there might be some sound effects, but you're not creating the music as the music goes, like with Parappa. Or with Friday Night Funkin', you're creating like the little noise sounds, or in Beatmania, where you're actually generating the whole track, each different key sound.
Or pop music, where I guess you're colorfully doing the same thing.
Yeah,
doing in Beatmania.
Pop music, which is just Beatmania,
pretty much, but better,
but with more keys on it.
But like as far as like, I want to get that out because I want to forget. So like the tarot card choice was Wheel of Fortune.
Right.
Upright refers to good luck, karma, life cycles, destiny, a turning point. Reverse form is bad luck, resistance to change, and breaking cycles. So this choice was solely based off of the track itself because I don't know 100% what the narrative of the game is going to be. But the song itself is 100% breaking cycles because the way the vocalist talks about waiting for something to happen that will never happen. She's looking for like this affirmation from this person that she's seeking, and eventually she decides, screw it. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm breaking through. I'm going to do my thing rhythmically, and it's friggin' fantastic. So I was like, perfect fit. Just shoehorn that in there.
This is great. But this song has this music has to be in our show at some point.
I was waiting. It was just a matter of what will be the opportunity. I've been sitting on this bugger since the Kickstarter, waiting.
I've been watching the development on Twitter.
Waiting to choose.
Very excited about this one. So for more information on the bonus round, go to rhythmandpixels.com. We'll have links to SoundClouds and Bandclamps and
all the band clamps
and Bandcamps and
keep that music in place.
And I guess the Kickstarter is where you can go find more about the music of Unbeatable and of Death Crown, because you got to go to that SoundCloud. That thing is amazing.
Yeah.
So check that out. All right, thanks for joining us on episode 27-10 of Rhythm and Pixels. This is the end of World 27.
And a weird topic to go out on, just the way I like it.
Yes, the major arcana and nothing else, Pernell.
Nothing at all. We may revisit this topic in the future, because there's a lot more arcana than what we went through. And we even both chose one of the same one, so maybe it'd be fun to decide to do a little bit more with that. And even dig a little deeper into it, too, because I've always been fairly fascinated with the concept of tarot card reading. Even if I never quite got it done myself because, well, yeah, weird stuff like that.
But, oh, you mean get it done for you?
No, just have it, like go to a person
go to
and
a
say,
reader.
Could you read my fortune with the tarot?
I've only been once.
Oh, you've done it before?
Yeah, ages ago. Christy and I were still dating, and we were like, let's just, because there's you drive up the highway and you see like those buildings, and they say like
the big hand on the wall, or the eyeball.
Yeah,
blinks.
psychic. It wasn't tarot. It was just psychic, and she was just telling me that my aura was troubled and evil or something, and that I shouldn't be in this relationship.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, she told me that, and she told me that, and she told me I had to keep coming back to have my aura cleansed.
Oh, with money.
And I'm like, oh, it's nothing. This is just a scam. That's nice to know. I would like to have my tarot read though. Tarot is more interesting to me, because I feel like there's a lot more interpretation, and maybe a little bit more conversation.
And it's interesting in the sense that with tarot, the person will play a card and they'll flip it, right? They'll say, okay, upside down Wheel of Fortune. Oh, this clearly shows that you're resistant to change in your life, something that you should be looking into focusing on for the future that you can't see. And of course, that immediately makes you start ruminating on your own life, and you'll find something that ties to that. Yeah. And it'll make you go, she's right. There is that promotion I should have gone for. People keep telling me I should, and I'm ignoring it because I'm resistant to leaving my comfortable job. I should go for that. So it's like it doesn't work, and yet it also does, because it leads you to the answers you want to find, even if they're not directly responsible for giving you those answers.
Yeah, I think it has to do, one, with the right person doing the reading, being able to really not just sell it, but I mean, like to really, what's the word? Like to define those connections. Mm-hmm. But I think it also has to be with the right person asking for the reading, being the readee, I guess.
The recipient of the word.
Because I don't think I would buy a lot of it. I'd be like, yeah, of course, sure, but I don't believe in anything, so it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to go
Rhythm and Pixels, I don't believe in nothing.
I don't believe in nothing no more. I'm going back to school. No, I'm going. What was it?
Going back to law.
I can't remember.
I'm going back to law school.
Law school.
Yeah.
No.
We're going out on this track from Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, because I got into like a little bit of a little loop today of just listening to Final Fantasy music.
Specifically Mystic Quest somehow.
And the Lava Dome. Pernell was for, I guess, the fire.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean the Fool.
The Fool. Oh, yeah, sure. The lovers.
They're on fire. Their hearts are hearts of fire.
2 hearts going to Lava Dome. 1 heart leave.
That's more like a love between a tarantula and a black widow spider, but what do I know?
All right.
Certainly not insects.
Well, hey, if you like what you've been listening to and you want to get in contact with us and say hello, or if you have a track suggestion or a topic suggestion, send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
Or if you want to check out the rest of the show, see more about the show, get a full track listing from all of these episodes and access to all of our episodes, go to the website
www.rhythmandpixels.com.
Also, just rhythmandpixels.com works too.
No, World Wide Web is a requirement.
I bought that domain. I had to get it back from Microsoft because they were sitting on it.
That's where that plays the sniper dot.
You go to https://worldwideweb.worldwideweb.
Well, now I have to use www every time.
www. That's actually a joke from the old cartoon Home Movies. Or he does movie reviews for this website, but he won't stop saying www. Everyone gets so annoyed. Like, you don't have to say www anymore. It's like, I want to.
It's official that way.
It just says it so many times. What was I talking about? Oh, the show. Yeah. Check us out on, all Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. It's Rhythm and Pixels. It's all one word. And you can go to youtube.com/Rhythm and Pixels. There we've got a 24/7 radio station playing nothing but 8-bit and 16-bit classics with music curated by Rob, Purnell, Keyglyph. Who else we got on there? Ed Wilson, I think, did some music. Oh,
Mabry.
Yeah, Michael Bridgewater from the Forever Sound Version podcast, and hopefully some more from some more of your podcast pals. Yeah, showing up on there. So look forward to that. But right now, it's just tons of great music, and a lot of people are listening to it now, which is really exciting.
It's doing its due. It helps people get to the work day.
And if you don't want to listen to it there, you can go to twitch.tv/Rhythm and Pixels, and it's also being streamed over there.
I gotta say, by the way,
for your listening pleasure.
Kind of jumps a little into our usual, ender spiel, but I gotta say, so this week I've been renting a car because my car's been in the shop. I just gave the car back and got.
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that because I had a similar experience where you rent a car and it's way nicer than you expect. And
I love that car. I miss it already.
And then I think that's how they sell cars.
It's sneaky devils.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, the thing that really hit me was when they gave me the car, the radio turned on. Because the guy drove and picked me up with the radio running. He said, "Here's your car keys, blah, blah, blah," and the radio just stayed on. And I never turned it off, which means for the first time in maybe 2 decades, I was listening to the radio.
Oh, like radio.
Like radio, like talk radio. And on the hour, 80s and 90s hits, blah, blah, blah. So
and it started playing a bunch of static. And then, the world started turning really dark.
And then I realized this was Death Crown, baby.
Yeah, Silent Hill.
But what I came to realize is that these guys will be talking in between segments, and they'll say things like, so next on the Wheels of Steel, we got to talk about breakfast cereals. Where did you grow up on, and what did you like to eat? Caller, you're on the air. And they'll start talking about the water back and forth. And it started to hit me maybe this is what people like hearing us ramble about stuff, because literally that could have been us. These guys were talking, and they were doing nothing that we don't already do.
So we missed out on the radio heyday.
We could have been Rhythm and Pixels on 99.5. This is Rhythm, and I'm Pixels.
You ever go back and watch classic Frasier? Because I know I have a lot. I watch Frasier all the time. But his apartment and his car, and he lives like a king, but he just works for the radio.
And he has a niche area on radio. It's not even that he's just a popular DJ. He's a psychology DJ.
I mean, were radio stars paid that much back then?
No way. It's like Homer Simpson taking care of his entire family on his Sector 7G safety inspector salary.
I guess it's like Mystery Science Theater. Just don't worry about it too much. Don't think about the science.
But see, this exact dialogue right here,
the science of
would have
Frasier,
been aired on that radio station in between 2 80s and 90s hits.
Wait a minute. You want another job? Is that what you're saying? You want to leave this for radio?
That's right. I'm taking us to radio because I just got us a job at 99.5 The Blaze.
You can't quit. You can't quit. You're fired. You're fired.
No! Welcome back to Rhythm and Blips. This is Jimmy Blip.
That's that one. I got it. Yeah, I totally get it. Christy listens to the radio all the time. Driving up and back to the barn and stuff, and she'll be and then what's funny is we'll go somewhere, or the radio will turn on, and she's like, "Oh, I love this song. Don't you like this song too?" And I'm like, "This is the first time I've ever heard this song."
Because you're not listening to the radio.
I'm not listening to the radio.
And they recycle junk too. They in the morning and then in the afternoon, I heard the exact same song. Both points in the same day from the same station. Come on.
That's that they're on rotation, man. If you get a song on rotation, then you're going to get played 3-4 times a day.
There's something so wrong with that. When you advertise as 80s, 90s, and thousands hits.
I got to tell you, I listen to NPR for the news, right? And at least 8 to 9 times a day, they're talking about the same darn thing happening in the world. The election year, it was all day long. It just, they kept repeating the same thing about the election.
When are they going to start talking about real important things like difficulty for ducks to cross the road in populated cities?
Yeah.
It frustrates me.
Or how did Frasier afford his apartment in Seattle?
Jesus Christ.
Anyway. If you'd like to support this show, You can hit the subscribe button on whatever you're listening on, or you could tell people about it. You know, it doesn't have to be a secret, or it could be a secret if that's more exciting for you.
I want it to be the most exposed secret on the planet.
It can be a deep secret,
but not dark.
Our little secret, but a good secret.
Bright secret.
Anyway, or you can go to patreon.com/rhythmandpixels, and any donation there, you become a member of the show, a member of our program.
You call in.
The Rhythm and Pixels, we need like a name for that, like the Brigade, the Rhythm and Pixels.
I'm not going to lie. There's a small
Power Rangers. I don't know.
There's a genuinely small part of me now that wants to get like a phone number solely for Patreon and be like, hey, call in on the live episode. You're on the air.
Dude, don't tempt me. We can do this. We'll make like a Discord call in. That'd be hilarious. I'm getting ideas now. Anyway, if you go to patreon.com/rhythmandpixels, you get access to a weekly prequel episode. Me and Pernell sort of decompressing and chatting and getting the show started. You get access to a monthly live streamed episode. It's a normal episode that gets released like weekly, except that we record live with our Patreon members. So there's a lot of visual gags and there's a lot of jokes in the chat, and that's a lot of fun to do. At the higher tiers, you can also get extras on our radio station. So we can get like shout outs on the radio station. At the highest tier, you can have your own shout out. You talk. You can record it.
With words.
I don't care what you record it on. You can do it in a tin can.
A talk boy.
And then it becomes on rotation, Pernell.
Plays it 9.
You're gonna hear that. You're gonna hear that. You're gonna hear that same Rystar song on the radio station. So you can do that too. So it's all at patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. And at the end of every episode, we'd like to thank our highest tier members, which I had open and then I closed, and I'm pulling it up right now. So at the top of my list, I want to thank Frankly Zappa. So thank you so much for those kind words in the email and those messages. And he's actually been checking out my my DDR Twitch streams.
Oh, awesome!
Which is kind of cool because I think he's like 3 or 4 hours behind me. So it's like 4 a.m, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I was just checking out your stream." And I'm like, "Do you go to sleep, man?"
He's like, "Hey, I'm like that sometimes. If you want to watch something, you'll just set the clock around it."
But also, congratulations on the new job. I thank Mike Myers, Vashin8060, That Nick Walker, Ed Wilson, Mats Holmqvist, all of you. Congratulations on your new job.
Damn, dude, stop it.
Davey Cakes, Justin Schneider from XVGM Radio, Sonic Medley, Taco, Harold Howard, Dave Taylor, Reinhard Selkova. Congratulations on the new job. Andreas Milberg, Dan Loughton, Sleepy Spore, Steve Miller, The Autistic Gamer 89, Cameron Werma,
Don't you do
Christopher Sandstrom, Bobby Arson from One Up Funk. Congratulations on the new job.
Good job.
Wicked Sephiroth, Carlos from the Heroes 3 podcast, Michael Bridgewater from the Forever Sound Version podcast. Actually, I guess more frequently now on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mebree64. He's essentially a DJ of Commodore 64 demo tapes.
Oh, I'm sure he's entertaining as all get out.
It's a lot of fun. It's really cool, and he's DJing now with tracker music and demo music. It's incredible. I'll actually link to that on the website because it's really cool. It's really, really good. Oh, and Brian Pitt. I
see with Brian Pitt. Congratulations on the new bundle, boyo.
You're
daddy now.
Congratulations on the new job.
Technically.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you all so much for your continued support of our show and for listening to me and Pernell joke and talk and
just
laugh.
Be plain rambunctious.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. So you keep doing you, and we'll keep being me and Pernell.
And sandwiches are delicious.
You had a
Continue
salad.
to consume them.
You had a salad.
Well, it was mashed potatoes and chicken steak.
I had leftover Chinese today. It was really good.
I miss Chinese food. It's been a while since I've had some. Maybe I'll do that this weekend.
Do the Shio. It's good. Or you're saying Happy Fortune. You always want Happy Fortune.
The go-to, I'm a chicken and broccoli man.
I know, but I'm saying try it one time.
Drop 2 beats one time.
One time.
One time. See, the freestyle episode's going to be...
They're good. Look at that. They're getting free. Anyway, it's local. It's the most local thing is go to Happy Fortune instead of Wawa.
They're both delicious.
Anyway, so yeah, next week, if everything works out, we have a fantastic guest coming on the show. Topic to be announced, but we're going to have a great interview and a good time with our composer, new friend.
And I guess probably...
Best friend.
Bestest of all.
Yeah.
And I guess probably the next day or two, we'll come up with a topic. If we do the topic for the live stream and post it, we'll have to post it before the episode releases. So.
Yeah. We'll actually come up with it tonight, and then we'll have it out.
Dig 'em boing.
All right. I don't know what that is.
That's a Honey Smacks jingle.
Oh, okay. Jamming number 1. All right. My name's Rob.
And I'm Perdell.
Thanks for listening, and have a good week.
And remember, fortune and fancy and basically fortune tellers, tarot cards, the stars. It's all interesting in the sense of trying to get some sense of understanding of what lies ahead for you in the future, making a plan, a blueprint, something cosmic that dictates where your path will lead. But when all it comes down to, while there may be a sense of trajectory that your life is on, or you might just feel like there's a trajectory that your life is on, it's never 100% set in stone. There's always ways to divert that path in some way, shape, or form. Maybe, I don't know, if something as simple as take the long way to the restaurant because you want to catch the scenic route, and maybe you'll spot a deer on the side of the road, or I don't know, maybe something more complicated like looking at getting a new career. Just any number of things. Maybe ask that girl out on a date, or don't spill your soup all over the floor, you klutz. You're not a klutz. You're awesome.
Wow.
But still, nonetheless, you really shouldn't spill that soup. Do your best. The point is, you do have more choice in your life than you might think by way of what society leads you to believe or what past experiences led you to see within yourself. Don't let yourself fall into the rut of predestiny. Push forward and make your own path. It's hard, but it's possible and very fulfilling. Just do that thing. Also, eat more beans.
And eat more soup.
Don't spill your soup. Eat that soup.
Eat the soup.
Soup.